Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahabushai, Bahasham, Barakahakwadash, Barakathum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahabushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who ruled and teach well. And peace and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure to the end. This is the Brother Ra'aya with another video. And in this video, I'm going to start it off with an article from leohoman.substack.com titled, U.S. Department of Commerce has plans already in place to digitize the identities of all Americans receiving public benefits. Federal guidelines have already been secretly adopted for a digital ID program that will start off as voluntary, but only the most gullible Americans would believe that's anything but temporary. And hey, you should already know where this lesson's going. This is just another stepping stone towards the rollout and eventual mandatory implementation of the MARKOFTHEBEAST in Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 to 18, which is the RFID/NFC C-HIP implant. And as we're about to go into with this article, the government is writing down legislation and new guidelines to link digital IDs to public benefits, government benefits that people receive. And hey, with a lot of people already relying on these government benefits and more people, looking to rely on government benefits as this U.S. economy continues to collapse, inflation gets worse and, more and more people lose their jobs. Hey, this is just going to be another carrot to lead people towards this digital cashless society and eventually that C-HIP implant. In the globalist drive toward the creation of a national digital ID for all Americans is well underway, and the first group of citizens to be coerced into accepting a digital ID will be those receiving public benefits of one type or another. And remember, during 2019 to 2021, you had a lot of Americans, surviving off of those stimulus checks, as well as that government money they were receiving. Government health care benefits, veterans benefits, social security benefits, and of course, low-income welfare programs. Hey, a lot of you Eves, so-called black women out there with multiple kids relying on, Section 8, welfare and these other SNAP programs of every type will all be fair game for digital IDs. And the U.S. government is already far down the road to adopting a strategy of digitizing all government-dependent citizens. It all begins with a little-known program with the U.S. Department of Commerce. I bet you didn't know that the Federal Commerce Department has a sub-agency called the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST for short, and that NIST has already adopted a set of digital identity guidelines. These guidelines are ostensibly designed to better support public benefits programs. Biometric Update reports that these programs assist beneficiaries with essential needs such as food, housing, and medical expenses, and then goes on to explain NIST's role in digitizing all these government benefits. Before we continue, let's go to the precept of the hour right now, because we quickly are coming into the hour, of temptation when the MOTB will be mandatorily implemented and people will have to make some hard decisions whether they're gonna take the easy route and receive it to still be a part of this society, or take the hard route and not receive it, and all the consequences, deadly consequences that come with that. But this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And he causeth all that he, being the elite rulers of the planet right now, who are of the nation of the biblical Edomites, are these so-called white people, such as your Rothschilds, your Rockefellers, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. Government health care benefits, veterans benefits, social security benefits, and of course, low-income welfare programs. He calls it all people from all different walks of society to receive a charagma, that C-hip implant, in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell. Get a job, travel abroad, and as we're seeing, receive, government benefits, save he that had the charagma, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Again, the goal is to get everybody on board with this digital cashless society. During 2019 to 2021, what did you see? Social spacing, physical currency being taken out of circulation because they said that the C019 traveled on it. A push for contactless payments, a push for these mobile phone payment apps, etc., etc. And a lot of these different, private and public sector industries are looking to create a digital identity system to, in their words, streamline everything. Oh, you don't need to carry your government card around on you. You can just have it on this app on your phone. And just like we had cash, then credit cards and debit cards, to what? Mobile payment systems. What do you think the next step for everything's going to be? That C-hip implant in you. As is almost always the case, the federal agency has partners in the private sector to help it fulfill its mission of bringing in the technocratic biometric beast system designed to replace people's free will with government mandating every facet of their lives. And we truly do live in a fascist society, which, when you look up what fascism truly is, it's the marrying of the private sector with corporations, with what? The public sector, the government. These corporations, these mega corporations and these governments are working in tandem to bring about, this digital society. Because who just happened to, fare 2019 to 2021 the best? These mega corporations, while a lot of these middle class, small businesses and mom and pop businesses went out. Biometric Update writes, the project is a collaboration between NIST, Georgetown University's Beek Center for Social Impact and Innovation, and the Center for Democracy and Technology, CDT. The Commerce Department even has its own staffer whose sole responsibility is to oversee this digitization of public benefits. Under Secretary of Commerce for Standards and Technology and NIST Director Lori E. Locascio emphasizes the importance of balancing access and security in benefits delivery. She noted that different populations faced varied needs and barriers, which this collaboration aims to address by bringing together diverse communities. The plan is for the project to utilize NIST's process of community engagement to gather input from federal partners, state benefit program administrators, IT and cybersecurity leaders, digital identity experts, technologists, advocates, and individuals with direct experience in the public benefits system. And now I'm going to jump down to the last two paragraphs. So they put out their fake studies and then clamor about the growing call for accountability, safer, more secure, and more equitable distribution of public benefits, and eventually the forced digitalization will include private benefits too, such as private bank accounts, your corporate paycheck, your applications for various educational opportunities, etc. It will be tied into your digital ID, and that they may neither buy nor sell, save he that had the mark. And then, when as many volunteers are signed up as possible, meaning there are no more dumbed down government trusting drones willing to digitize themselves, that's when the voluntary aspect will be yanked out of the equation and they start to remove the carrot and use the stick. Sign up for this digital ID or else. Hey, and he causeth all. Just like with everything. Again, 2019 to 2021 with what the Pokemon, they came out with it saying, oh, you can get free donuts, you can get free hamburgers, you can get a free joint, you can get all these benefits for it. But then when people were hesitant, what did they say? You don't want to get the Pokemon? Hey, don't bother coming into work. Don't bother going to the gym. Don't bother being a part of society. It's going to be much worse this time around, and people will be faced with being put to death for not, receiving that Haragma. Back in Revelation chapter 13, I'm going to jump up to verse 15. And he, again the elites, had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And the image of the beast are the financial, political, and military aspects of this beast system we're currently living in. The last leg of the fourth beast in Daniel chapter 2. Those iron toes mixed with miry clay. The reincarnated Roman Empire. This NATO EU system that the U.S. is a part of and at the head of. And this charagma is going to be a major aspect of the image of the beast. The linchpin, if you will, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, reputationally killed in society by no longer being able to take part in it, and then what? Being faced with physically being put to death for not, receiving that Haragma. But like I've been saying throughout the video, Esau comes subtly with it. Oh, it's a benefit to society. It's going to make everything much more streamlined. But as it says in 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And we're not ignorant of where all these different roads are leading to. The rollout and mandatory implementation of that charagma. And as it also says in Sirach or Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 12, I'm going to start at verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Hey, this is the same devil from the transatlantic slave trade. The same devil from the Civil War and the Reconstruction era to Black Wall Street and Rosewood to the War on Drugs era, all the way up until today. This Edomite hates so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the true children of Israel, and everything he does is to what? Undercut you and your communities and keep you constantly at the bottom, and to put as many of you to death as he can. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good of heed of him and beware, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. As it says in Ecclesiastes, who can make that straight which the Most High has made crooked? Hey, these Edomites, the wicked, were estranged from the womb. Their spirit is to be everything completely contrary to righteousness and completely contrary to, the ways and laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Even though he puts up that image as the good guy, the doctor, the president, the soldier bringing democracy, all it really is at the end of the day is to further benefit, his beast system, to further, put wealth and resources into the pockets of these elites, while everybody else, destroys their minds, bodies, and souls, being a part of this man's system and believing everything he says. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. And this is what happened with our people, that were ruling in Europe during the medieval times, the so-called Dark Ages. They civilized this Edomite, and what did he do? He had his renaissance or his rebirth, where he overthrew, our people ruling in Europe, and what? Stole their identities and showed themselves as the knights and the kings and the queens, and all that. And then what? Those little hats over in the Holy Land have stolen our identity and showed themselves as the people of the Most High. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with the serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? And hey, to our people out there who still believe in this man, hey, you got that Pokemon. Now you're seeing the negative impacts of that. And to our people that are going to receive this charagma, hey, who's going to pity you? You've had the men of the Lord, the prophets of the Most High, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, as well as the brothers that come in the spirit of GMS, out on the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this online, warning you not to trust thine enemy and the agendas he's coming with. So if you get caught up in his snares, hey, who will pity a charmer bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. Hey, we're coming with this digital ID, this digital cashless society to make things more convenient. You won't have to worry about carrying physical currency, so you won't have to worry about getting robbed. You won't have to worry about getting your identity stolen. Hey, this is the wave of the future. Little do you know that it's just to lock you on to this digital grid, to where you won't be able to escape this society unless you won't be able to be a part of this society unless you receive his digital charagma in you. And if you don't want to go along with the system, you will be penalized for it and be faced with being put to death for it. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. Again, 2019 to 2021. This is a situation that's heavily affecting so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. They need to get the Pokemon. Thou shalt find him there first. Hey, we're making it easy for you, and we're making you the target of our campaigns to fast track getting this stuff to you. Going to be no different with this Haragma. The main target they're going to be coming after are you Jakes, and they're going to be using these celebrities and athletes to more easily convince you to take it. And though he pretend to help thee, yet will he undermine thee. And lock you away from your power if you receive that charagma and get put to death. They get burned with that fire. Get that Revelation chapter 14 verses 9 to 10 treatment. But now I'm gonna just go to the last bit of information in this lesson from an article on RT.com titled "Brain Chips to Replace Cell Phones in Future. Musk, the billionaire's Neuralink company, implanted the first C-hip in a human brain last January and is now gearing up for a second trial." Salakia. Like I said earlier, these public government sectors and these private corporate sectors are all working together towards that end goal, this digital society, and this C-hip. Because what does Neuralink deal with? A BCI, or a brain computer interface, that MARK in the forehead. Cell phones will become obsolete in the future, being replaced by C-hips that are implanted directly in the human brain. Billionaire tech entrepreneur Elon Musk has predicted. His Neuralink biotech company implanted a brain C-hip for the first time in 30-year-old quadriplegic Nolan Arbo back in January. The surgical procedure involved placing the computer C-hip, which is about the size of a coin, in the region of the brain which controls the intention to move. The C-hip is then used to record and transmit brain signals wirelessly to an app to decode movement intention. Musk shared his latest prediction in response to a post published on X, formerly Twitter, by a parody account named Not Elon Musk on Sunday. The original message read, "Would you install a Neuralink interface on your brain to allow you to control your new X phone by thinking?" Musk replied by claiming that in the future there will be no phones, just Neuralinks. And I was watching a video the other day that Elder Malcolm of Chicago did, where he referenced that movie Total Recall, not the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but the new one with Colin Farrell, which I haven't seen the movie, but he said that in the movie, people had their cell phones in their bodies. Like, I guess they had some kind of digital interface on their wrist, a predictive programming. But now I'm going to jump down, to the last two paragraphs of this article. However, in May, Neuralink acknowledged that it had encountered certain issues after tiny wires implanted in the brain were dislodged out of position. Nevertheless, the FDA gave the green light for a second human trial. The Wall Street Journal reported last month the next experiment, which is reportedly slated for June, slated for June. It's June. Ain't no microchip. Well, what do you have to say now? Will feature a modified procedure whereby a C-hip will be implanted deeper into the brain, that forehead, to prevent it from retracting. According to the media outlet, another 8 people are expected to take part in further trials by the end of the year. Habakkuk 2 verse 3. Though it tarry, wait for it shall surely come. It will not tarry. We can see that, Revelation 13 verses 16 to 18 is not tarrying, but it is quickly speeding up. And before we know it, some major event, some crisis is going to happen, to further speed up the rollout of the C-hip and the mandatory implementation. And we will be in that hour of temptation. But, to you sincere Akim and Akwat out there, you should know by now that no matter what, do not take that C-hip, or you're going to receive that Revelation 14 verses 9 to 10 treatment, being destroyed with that fire and brimstone in the presence of the Lamb, Yahushai, and the holy angels. So that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. As we can clearly see, we are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babol, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.